Welcome to the third episode of This Week in UCH. For some more general news, Bojack will be making his return to hosting tournaments, with him hosting Distortion on April 4th. I strongly recommend to everyone here to join the tournament in the competitive Discord. Now it's time for us to head into this week's level shoutout is to a level that is just plain adorable. And so, the level shoutout goes to Inner Incarnation by AKBKC. As always with his levels, the visuals are absolutely gorgeous, and in this level he uses his classic axolotl for an absolutely adorable look. The gameplay is pretty cool as well, which is quite normal for AKBKC. And so congrats to AKBKC for the level shoutout, very well deserved. Now, let's move on to this week. We're gonna have a pretty quick summary of the tournament, which was actually hosted by me. Now let's all learn what happened in Co-op Carnage 4. In third, we have Tornado and Lexi, who were nearly DQ'd because Lexi's setup stopped working mid-tournament. In second, we have Inkling, Fudge and Fish, who had a great run, with Inkling in particular having many clutch moments, but they simply could not beat Morphin and Ember, who got first place. Now that we're done with that, it's time to move on to this week's. The answer to last week's question was the Not So Party Zone by Horsing ASAP. Congrats to Bojack, Aimbot, and Bal for being the first three to answer correctly. For this week's question, who is the best player that Bojack has never played in tournament? The first three people to answer correctly in the form in the description will be shouted out in the next UCH trivia. Now, I think it's about time we head on to... This week was a pretty quiet one as far as challenge completions go. But we do still have a few noteworthy ones, with Evan XO beating Hellish Canal, and Ember beating Keep Going. It's now time for us to go fast with this week's... You all voted in several categories, now let's see the results. For Animal of the Week, with a convincing win, we have... the Bunny. For Item of the Week, which was sure to be an interesting one, we have... the Flamethrower. For the best player outfit, in a very close vote, we have... Variety Bear. For the best format, in an absolute landslide win, we have... the 1v1. Finally, for the team question, Team Orange Juice versus Team Lemonade. Personally, I'm more of a milk guy myself, but the winner for this week is... Team Lemonade. Now that we're done with this week's lightning round, let's move on to... So that concludes this week's episode of the UCH News. Join the UCH Weekly News Discord in the description to vote in polls and never miss the next update. Also, join the competitive Discord if you haven't already to see all the things I talk about firsthand. Thank you all for watching, peace out.